I believe the mic is connected. Last time I used it, it wasn't, so hopefully we're good now. It looks so funny. It's just a fluffy thing on my shirt. Okay, anyway. Hi everyone, welcome to the very first video of 2026. There's going to be a lot of changes in this channel. Well, not a lot. So before we start the video and get into my 2026 TBR, I do want to give some updates because there are going to be some changes made to this channel. So first things first, I'm not going to be making any more book wrap-up videos or reading wrap-up videos just because even though I did like making them, I just feel like I was so repetitive with my reviews on the books. I didn't want to spoil you guys on any of the books that I was reading in case you have not read them yet. And so I was just being very vague and I couldn't really talk much about the books that I was reading. So I just felt like it was not very informative. Also felt like I was just repeating myself a bunch of times. So yeah, no more reading wrap-up videos in this channel, but instead I will be making my book reviews on Instagram. So I used to do this a couple of years ago, I think, and so I'm bringing that back. So if you're interested, feel free to follow me on my Instagram. Links will be down below, and I'll also put my username on screen as well. And then the next thing, and probably the biggest change, is that I won't be posting any more of my quarterly music playlists here. I just feel like it's so different from the rest of the videos in this channel, and so instead I made a new channel. So that is where all of the music related stuff. So yeah, music playlist videos will be on there. And I am thinking of also making some other type of playlist videos. So all of that stuff will be on there. So that channel is primarily going to be music related stuff. And yeah, I just felt like it didn't fit this channel anymore. So yeah, I just decided to make that other channel. So if you liked my music playlist videos, subscribe to that channel. Again, links will be down below. So yeah, I haven't posted anything yet on there, but stay tuned for the first quarter playlist video at the end of March. So, and I'm also actually going to be making some monthly shorts. So I'll be posting my favorite songs for the month every month, but it will be in the form of shorts instead of a full-length video. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, I will be posting some monthly music stuff on there. I think that's all of the major updates with this channel. So let's actually get into the video. Okay, so I have my list here of books that I want to read. So I have a list here of books that I own, and then I have another list of books that I do not own. This is the first time I'm including books that I don't own because I mainly just want to read more of the books that I do own, but it ends up not going that way. So the first book that I would like to read is Wolf Brother by Michelle Paver. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. I'm not sure. So yeah, this is the first book that I would like to read this year. I have already started this, but I've only read chapter 1 so far. So I'm enjoying it so far, even though it's just the first chapter. But it gave me a very similar vibe when I started reading Aragon. But yeah, it just gave me very similar vibes, even though these are two very different stories. But the atmosphere that these books just give is very, very similar, especially with the first chapter of this and the prologue in Aragon. It just had very similar vibes, very similar atmospheres, where it's this dark, maybe not something dark is happening, but there's something big is going on that we just do not know yet. Anyway, Wolf Brother by Michelle Paver. And then, of course, Aragon by Christopher Paolini is another book that I would like to get to this year. I'm thinking of actually reading this during the summer because I'm thinking of doing a big book summer reading challenge. So this is one of the books that I would love to get to reading this year. And then the next book is When the Stars Alight by Camilla Andrew. I am reading the ebook version of this. This is one of the giveaways that I had won in Storygraph from 2 years ago, I think, was when I won the giveaway for this ebook. Yeah, I am currently reading this book as well. I am currently around 30% of the way through the book. So yeah, I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish reading that book this year. The next book, or next books rather, are his Dark Materials trilogy by Philip Pullman. I was considering reading this as well during the Big Book Summer Reading Challenge, but I think I'll be reading this for a different thing, which you guys will see in the next video. I will be reading this year. I'm so excited to read this. So yeah, it's very thick, very big, because there is 3 books in here. There is The Golden Compass, The Subtle Knife, and The Amber Spyglass. This is a trilogy. And I've actually recently figured out what these kinds of books are called, where there's multiple books in like one book. It's called an omnibus. Omnibus. And then the next book is Frankenstein. I do not have the physical book with me, but I would love to read this during the spooky season. I think that would be really fun. And then the next books are my non-physical books. So I have 2 ebooks that I've written down. The first one is All the Broken People. I think I would also like to read this during the spooky season, because this is like a mystery sort of book. I don't exactly know the genre, but I know that there is a mystery aspect to it. So I think it would be fun to read during the spooky season. And then the next ebook is The Final Orchard by CJ Rivera. This is actually my most recent giveaway that I won on Storygraph. I won this last month in December, so that was pretty cool when I received the notification. So I'm very excited to read this as well. I believe this is a science fiction book. So if you didn't know, I did have a bit of a sci-fi phase last year. I remember reading I don't remember if it was the book summary, but I remember reading the stuff underneath in the giveaway that if you are a fan of Black Mirror, you will probably enjoy this book. I haven't watched every single episode of Black Mirror, but I did enjoy the ones that I have seen with my older sibling. I was watching with them, so yeah, excited to read this one as well. And then the last 2 books are both audiobooks that I will be listening to on Audrey. So the first one is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, and then the last book is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. So those are the 2 audiobooks that I'll be listening to on Audrey this year. I would love to get to more audiobooks on that app, but I'm just trying to be a bit more realistic, I guess. So I'm just going to start with these 2 audiobooks first, and then when I do get to finishing them, then I'll listen to more. And then for the books that I do not own, the first book that I've written down is The Last Ever After. This is book 3 of the School for Good and Evil series by Soman Chainani. So yeah, I really enjoyed the second book, so I really want to read the third book next. I do not have it yet, but I am planning on buying it soon. So yeah, very excited to read that as well. So yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next for Sophie and Agatha, because we left at such a very big cliffhanger. So I'm excited to see what happens. And then the next books are all audiobooks. The first one is Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, I think is the author. I did start reading this last year, but then I decided to DNF it because it was just so depressing. And I was just not in the mood to read that kind of story, so I decided to put it down. But I do want to continue reading it because I did like it. I was just not in the mood for it at the time. So yeah, I will be getting back to this book. And then the next one is The Haunting of Hill House. And I did not write the author's name down, but I'll put it up on screen. I just saw this in my YouTube home feed. It was one of the recommended videos for me. And it just looked really interesting. And again, this might be very fun to read during the spooky season. So I may be doing that this year. And then the last book that I've written down is Jade City by Fonda Lee, I believe. I remember seeing an audiobook of this on YouTube, but I believe it's been taken down. But I did find another site where I could listen to this audiobook. So thankfully, it is available on that site. So yeah, I'm very excited to start reading this. The only reason why I even included this book was because since I watch Catherine Karras here on YouTube, and she's mentioned that Jade City is one of her favorite books, and that the series is one of her favorite series, I believe. So it just really piqued my interest, and so I really wanted to read this book. So yeah, those are all the books that I want to read this year in 2026. Let me know in the comments down below what books are in your TBRs. I'd love to know. So yeah, just leave them in the comments down below. I'd love to read what you guys are planning on reading. And yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!